Well, today, of course, marks the one-year anniversary of Tropical Storm Beryl sweeping across the Arklatex. KSLA's First Alert Weather team looks back at Beryl's impact on the region and how parts of the community are still rebuilding 1 year later. I mean, we all knew as a weather team that this was not just some ordinary, severe weather day in the Arklatex. We knew that this was definitely going to be a historic tornado outbreak. I am very concerned about the folks right now in Bossier near the Barksdale Air Force Base, because that is just not a good radar signature. So you can see right there, there's a tornado doing some significant damage likely right now.
Get into your tornado safe space immediately, because I bet if you walked outside and looked up, you could probably see the sky spinning.
If you are near Louisiana 191 or in Huxley in Texas near the Texas-Louisiana border, I do want you in your tornado safe space.
July 8th, 2024 was a day for the history books and a day that many in the Arklatex will never forget. The day started off like any other, but by noon, we already had our first tornado warning of the day, and by afternoon, it was complete chaos.
Didn't know if it was going to be, if I was going through the roof, I was going through the wall, because I felt the wall bowing on me. And so I didn't know, and, I don't pray much, but I prayed that time, and, here I am.
It was like a dynamite went off. When this thing hit, stuff started falling on my head.
Shock, like just pure shock, not expecting it to be. I figured a few pieces of tin gone, but didn't expect the entire church to just be gone.
That we're blessed and thankful that my family's here, and it's very unfortunate that some aren't, but I do pray for them, and I pray for my family still.
We like to lead by example, and we just sent our whole crew into the tornado safe space, and you do the same thing. And it was at that point that this was really getting serious, and in my entire television career, I have never had to send people to take shelter where I actually worked at the station I was at. So that's when it really started to escalate, and we knew at this point that this was a very historic and a very serious outbreak here in the Arklatex.
We were up to like 12, 13 warnings at one time. Multiple of those had debris balls on them. And those are emergency situations that we're trying to help people with and make sure that they're aware of what's coming.
Chris Nuttall, warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Shreveport, says that in his entire career, he's never experienced anything like Beryl. It was a volatile combination of atmospheric ingredients that came together that day.
That day that Beryl moved in, it was very warm, very humid anyway. So we had that instability. Then when you added the wind shear coming in that's associated with the tropical storm or the hurricane, yeah, it was just kind of the perfect combination.
And it was that perfect combination that led to a record 67 tornado warnings being issued by the National Weather Service in Shreveport. It was the most tornado warnings that the office had ever issued within a 24-hour period. Of those 67 tornado warnings, 43 ended up being confirmed across the Arklatex. Damage was widespread, and several structures were completely destroyed. It was a devastating day for many. Captain Brandon with the Caddo Parish Fire Department District 4 was one of the first on scene to a mobile home that had flipped, trapping an elderly couple inside.
When we arrived on scene, there was a lot of trees across the road that we had to kind of maneuver around. When we got to the house, it was literally flipped over on top of the roof, and it just actually rolled. So we were able to walk those people out of the house. Usually when we're going to something like this, you expect the worst, and you're hoping for the best.
This here is the scene of where the mobile home flipped due to Beryl 1 year later, and everything has been cleared out. However, the damage still stings for people around the community as well as the Arklatex.
Beulah Baptist Church in DeSoto Parish was nearly destroyed by a strong tornado, and many of the church members are still trying to piece together what happened that horrible day.
1 year later, and this is still what it looks like today. The Family Life Center stripped down to its steel beams, and the church is still a massive work in progress, so there is still lots of work to be done. We spoke with Rose, who was one of the first ones on the scene.
One of the neighbors sent us a picture of the church, and we were in total shock. And so we couldn't get down here from our home up the road because of the trees were all down in the middle of the road. So we took the long way around and came back, and we still haven't gotten over the shock. That's all I can say is we'll get there.
While many lives were saved that day, unfortunately there was one fatality. The Bossier Parish Coroner's Office identified Kaylin Logan, a young woman who was killed near Benton as a tree fell on her home. And for all those who lived through that day, the scars will remain for years to come. For KSLA News 12, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones.